Hello, dear ones. So, we are now in my office that has had a makeover and got a new microphone as well. So, hopefully everybody's going to be able to hear this better in sum total. So, sorry it's taken a while. We've had to make some adjustments, and as you can see behind me, I still have things to sort out and put away and organize and all that other jazz. But I've been away long enough that something needs to be done. So here we are. Just the normal opening of the program. This is a giveaway. May all beings benefit. This video is to present meditation for an American sensibility, layman's terms. This basic format is my own. To go further, other languages and cultures are involved, which are rich with greater information, but that's up to you. It is this program, this episodic channel, is to build calm, balance, and focus during times of stress and uncertainty, and we've got a plethora of that going on right now. I seek to uphold the teachers who have encouraged me. May I always bring benefit with all my actions. Any mistakes are my own, not my teachers or the lineages. May whatever good arise here be to the benefit of all. At the close of each session, as part of the giveaway, I or we, as you choose, shall recite the Four Immeasurables, which is a standard out of the Tibetan liturgy. And as you will see, it is thoroughly harmless. So, things are tricky and out of balance, out of sorts, disjointed, disconnected, and generally a maelstrom. So, we're going to go over briefly things that we've already covered. There is this, which you may or may not remember. Hopefully you remember. Yep. And then this one. Okay. Now, going over posture briefly. Tip of the tongue behind the teeth. Right on the ridge of the palate. Tongue is curving just slightly inward. The very tip is curved slightly inward. And your abdomen, nice, soft tug, gentle tug up and in, underneath and behind your diaphragm. Think of it like, the lungs kind of create this. There's a space that the lungs don't occupy, that diaphragm's a cover for, right? So the lungs are kind of like this, right? They go out, they come in, they go out, they come in, but you've got stuff on the inside, right? And then the diaphragm as a covering down here. Okay, so you're pulling in really gently, right where the lungs don't occupy. You're going to pull it up and in. Not hard, not strongly, not intensely. Soft, gentle tug upward and in. The feet can either be flat on the floor or with the weight of your legs sitting on the balls of your feet. Your feet are hip width apart, natural, comfortable. Your spine is supple, not rigid, not lax, somewhere in between. Hands on your knees, nice and gentle. Breath is nice and gentle, whether it goes in the nose or through the nose and mouth and out the nose and mouth, or just out the nose. That's up to you. It's not going to be rocket science. Both is better. But, that'll come with time. Practice. All of this is about practice. Everything about human nature, whether it's breaking of old habits or establishing new ones or learning something new or, practicing something you've gotten out of touch with, like riding a bicycle, right? It's all about practice, regimen, habits, whether good or bad. Sometimes the good turn into bad, and sometimes the bad turn into good, depending on the situation, but it's rare that a bad habit turns into something good. Doesn't mean it can't happen, just means that it's rare. So, gentle tug upward, straight, relaxed spine, breathing relaxed and slow, tip of the tongue behind the teeth. Good. Mind, the brain, the monkey mind that sits on top of your shoulders, that can spin like a top. You want that to be still. You want it to be quiet. And it takes a bit of doing to get there. So if it doesn't happen right away, don't sweat it. The more you kick yourself, the more you engage in negative reinforcement, the more you're going to stroke the rebellion button. The more you're going to provoke a rebellion from within yourself. And that's not going to be good. It's not going to be beneficial. It's just going to wreak havoc. Whether in the immediate sense or over time, it doesn't matter. It's going to wreak havoc. Rebellion, in this sense, in what we're attempting to achieve, is counterproductive. You want the emotional churn that sits in your gut, you want it to be calm and still, like a sea with no wind. So you can still have calm surface, but you can still have undercurrents. You want those to be calm too, as much as you can. And just as with that description of the emotional churn, you've also got the head stuff up here. So where this could be possibly quiet, you can have stuff going on back here. It just takes time. Time and practice, time and practice. If you don't take the time to practice, you will never improve. You'll just spin your wheels. You'll be, acting like you know what's going on, but you can't hold it. You can't do it. So you can talk the talk, but you can't walk the walk. So we're trying to do both. We're trying to be legit and genuine here. So you have to put in the time to do it. And that's above and beyond these videos that I put out for you. You need to do this on your own for you. Because when push comes to shove and the pressure is on and heat is too, you're going to have to figure out how to deal with you in the moment. This is called grace under pressure, and every single one of us has the ability. It's whether we exercise it. There it is again. Practice, exercise, get it done, do it. But this is different. This isn't building muscle like you would like tissues. This is building behavior. This is building skilled mental capacity to stay calm when tensions are high, when the wind is swimming around you and it's picking things up off the ground around you and is trying to lift you off the ground. Knowing how to ground yourself. Knowing how to be the center of the storm. And this is proverbial. Don't take this literally. This will help you greatly. But you only get out of it what you put into it. It is not a case of diminishing returns. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. Now, I wanted to bring something up with you today, and this video might be a little bit longer than 30 minutes because this subject is kind of subtle. So, the most precious thing you can give to anyone is your undivided attention. And that doesn't mean that your attention is to reply to whatever's being said like a debate. What we're talking about is deep listening, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Listening to the meaning, not just the word. You're looking at physical cues. You're listening to vocal pitch, tone, and expression. You're looking into the eyes. You're hearing much more than vocal frequency. You're listening to body language as well. This is deep listening. Well, and we all need it. We all need to be heard. That's why talk therapy has some veracity to it. We all need a witness. We all need to have that one person that we can go to in times of trouble and strife and unload, if only to just be heard and acknowledged. Sometimes, if we're really, really lucky, the person that we go to might actually have something to offer us in return to help the spinning maelstrom calm down, to find a foothold in the earth beneath us so that we are not taken up into the skies and spun around like a top. But sometimes all we need is a witness. This conversation is about, okay, maybe it's not a conversation. This dialogue is about learning how to listen to yourself. And I want to bring this up that it's more than just talk therapy. I mean, let's take a sociopath, for example. Someone who has very, very little emotional capacity. Very little emotional depth. They're like a freaking mirror. They only reflect what they see in you. There's no depth behind there. But they too want to be heard. They want to be seen. They want to be recognized and acknowledged for what they consider to be skillful individuals who know how to manipulate others and do things possibly for decades, get away with things, never get caught. They want to be recognized for what they consider to be astute individuals. They want to be in that category, and to do that, they have to be heard. People have to recognize what they've actually accomplished in order for them to feel successful. It's not enough to actually succeed and get away with it and never get caught in whatever nefarious deeds they may have accomplished. they have to get other people's acknowledgement, their dismay and horror at what these sociopaths have actually succeeded at doing is like a delicacy to them. They want to be heard and acknowledged too. Well, in that aspect, your body, our bodies, the fact that we are embodied, we have wind, we are wind and sand, or dust, if you will. The mortal coil, right? There is a substance, and there is something that makes the substance spin. But when, I'm using this language metaphorically. On an energetic level, we know them as particle and wave. That's what we are. But again, to go back to science, if you were to look at an atom, the greater part of the entire structure of an atom is space itself. So what we think is solid is just illusion. But we need to get back to the wind part, the wind and the mortal coil. The body itself has its own intelligence. It has its own knowledge. It's not always fear-based. Whenever we hear about body knowledge, it's always based on picking up some sort of danger signal. Well, it's not just that. It's not just that. But we need to listen to the cues that our bodies give us just as much as we need to be heard by others. We need to listen to ourselves. And we do that through, as we meditate, we find areas of tension. So let's get to the meditation. So try strike a meditation pose. Find your center. Supple, not rigid. Supple, attentive, not lax. Chin down just a little bit. And start at the crown of your head. And slowly, slowly, slowly release all the tension. Whether the tension is in your scalp, in your lymph nodes, in your hair follicles, in your gray cells, in your neurological makeup, in the brain itself, the brain stem, the various brain centers, your eustachian tubes, your earlobes. Just slowly roll it down. Wherever you feel tension, allow for it, but leave your attention there. Don't accentuate it. Don't try and engage it. Give it your attention, your open-ended attention. Don't try to fix it. What you're doing with the open-ended attention is to melt the stress, melt the tension. Think of it like butter. You don't want to put too much heat underneath it. You'll burn the butter. That's not what we're about. You want it to happen fast. It just means you're going to scorch the butter. That's not going to be good for anybody. It's going to make anything you make with that butter taste bad. Nice and slow. wherever you find the tension. If you, like, I had an experience the other day where I had a spot of tension that ran all the way back here, and it wouldn't relax, it wouldn't let go. So I just continued to relax everything on the inside of my skin, slowly but surely. And I found that this tension that wouldn't really release had a connection down here and back there. So until I reached that area down in here, because I couldn't feel it, I could just feel that one line right there. But once I got down here, I felt the extra extension. And as I released the tension up here, then this let go. And slowly that melted away. Nice and easy. But just keep going through your entire systems, all of your systems. I mean, you can be brief about it, especially if you don't have like 45 minutes to an hour to be as thorough as you want to be. But, you know, again, these kinds of things are in layers. So if you're getting a deep tissue massage, if you go too far, too deep, too fast, you're going to bruise. So, you know, like this is the beginning, maybe for many, and you start on the outer layers, right? Let's say you've got tension in your shoulders. So yeah, at least initially you feel the tension in the tops of your shoulders and kind of starting to run up your neck. So in your first day practicing this, you know, you release the tension down through here and you actually succeed and you pull down and you go through the lower systems. The next day, you're able to go in a little further and find out that there's, you know, it's like some tension underneath the trapezius. You find something connected to the rhomboids, which are like, okay, so you've got the scapula here. This is the shoulder plate underneath the actual shoulder top. Okay, so the rhomboids sit right about there connecting to the spine. So these things peel off in layers. Don't jump in with 2 feet and expect your entire body system to forget the last 20 or 30 years of tension you've been walking around with because you haven't been listening. These things come off in layers. Stay patient. Give yourself a break. Be kind to you. The point is to be gentle. The rest of the world is so hard and so anxious and so nervous and so knee-jerk that we have forgotten the power of gentleness. We think that gentleness isn't strength. Actually, it is. It's a different kind of strength. But it is strength all the same. It is strength that can last centuries instead of decades. So as you practice relaxing and listening and giving attention to these areas of tension within yourself, remember, watch your breath. In and out through mouth and nose, if you can pull it off. It may feel a little awkward initially. Don't sweat it. Just keep at it, just like everything else. Like the other day, because I got married and my husband's a major foodie, I've gotten much better at cooking because of practice. So, and he's a cook himself. He spent nearly 10 years working at Whole Foods in the prepared food section. So he knows all of those, cutting techniques. And he's tried to tell me, don't hold a knife, a chef knife, by the handle. You get less control that way. And I heard that, and it felt awkward. And then one day, after 13, 14 years of cooking for him, it just came natural. I totally took the knife the way he told me to hold it, and I didn't even think twice about it until after I had, like cut a couple of onions. I was like, whoa, I'm actually doing it without even thinking about it. That's what we're talking about. Hopefully, it's not going to take you 13 or 14 years, but it might, but maybe it won't. Again, it depends on how much investment you put into your time with yourself. This is about becoming your own best friend and doing what is healthy for your own well-being, for your own state of mind. So, we're going to do some meditation now. 10 minutes. Hi there. Hope you feel a little better. I do. So, listening to all of ourselves, our bodies, our hearts, with our feelings, through our attention, we can melt, dissipate the tension, the stress that keeps us anxious, privately, quietly upset, which tends to eventually mount into panic attacks. Considering what is happening in our world and how we have been groomed to think that life begins and ends at work, that only our jobs hold any meaning, because if we don't provide for our families, then our lives fall apart. But that's not what the totality of life is. Life is not business. Business is a part of life. But until we recover the gentleness that is part of the core of humanity, because science is saying this, the natural state of a human being is actually very gentle. But we have been groomed to be otherwise. We are going to turn that around in these sessions. That is the focus. Because when we are gentle, we are healthier. We are more natural. We are more organic in the way we behave, in the way we think, in the way we feel, in the way we exist. We are not organic right now. And it's very, very hard to recognize a genuine human being at the moment, because we've all been groomed to be crazy. And I don't mean that in the loving Tibetan fashion. I mean that in the Benjamin Rush kind of fashion. And if you don't know who Benjamin Rush is, look him up. He's a lost soul. At any rate, thank you for watching the video, and I pray that this benefits everybody who watches and everybody who comes in contact with people who watch this and learn from it. May everybody learn this. Not just because I'm putting it out there. No, this isn't about me. This is about us. This is about learning how to be natural again, learning how to be gentle again, remembering what we started out as, the human species. And no, I don't believe that we were ever meant for war. I believe we've been provoked. I believe we've been conditioned toward it. And again, science is proving that to be correct. So we've got to really look at, okay, what was that saying I heard? People on a riverbank happened to notice that there were folks in the middle of the river who were screaming and asking for help to get out of the river. And so they made a chain and they started pulling people out of the river. But as soon as they pulled one out, here comes another, and another, and another. Sooner or later, you got to go upstream and find out how these people are ending up in the river. I'm suggesting that we find out. We can't wait any longer. We need to find out. Because there's too many of us drowning in the river. So on that note, if you're in the river, this is your hand, my hand, the collective hand, the hand of people who teach meditation. This is the hand reaching out to you to help you get out of the river. But you have to reach out and take the hand that is offered to you. A lot can be done to help you, but you got to work at it too. So until next time, know that you're loved. Be the love and give it to someone else who may have forgotten what it looks like, what it feels like. Because many have, many. And they need to be reminded. So, let's go ahead and do this. The 4 immeasurables. Normally we would stop for the prayer list, but I've been doing so much talking, I kind of ran us out of time. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings be free of suffering and the cause of suffering. May all beings never part from the happiness that is free of sorrow. And may all dwell in equanimity, free of attachment, which can mean, in this context, can mean addiction, free of attachment and hatred toward those near and far, wherever they are. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Ahore Pujaho Swaha. Thank you. Be blessed and be a blessing to others. Bye.